If you look at the graph of my journey towards financial freedom, you can see that in the initial years of my career, I didn't build up much wealth. Of course, this could be explained by the fact that in the early days of our careers, we generally tend to earn much lesser. This period, actually up till 2016, you can see I didn't build much wealth. The first part of it till 2013 is mostly attributed to me not saving much. In the initial years, I did not pay serious attention to investments. So that's the first mistake that I made in my journey towards financial freedom. I did not pay serious attention to investment in the beginning of my career. So if I had paid more attention to the right investments from when I started in 2008 to 2012, 2013 or 14, I would definitely have built up more wealth even in the initial stages. So the first lesson is to start investing early. In the next little period from 2013 to 2016, I actually quit my job and dabbled in startups, one of which I co-founded. In hindsight, because the startups didn't work out, if I hadn't quit my job and had continued with it, my wealth might have obviously grown faster and earlier, and I could have achieved financial freedom much faster. However, I don't think this was a mistake because it was a risk worth taking. If the startups had actually worked, my wealth could have actually increased much faster and much earlier. So the payoff was worth it. Of course, it didn't work out, but I do not see this as a mistake. It is okay to take some risks in the journey. So that's the first half of my journey between 2008 and 2016, where I was in a full-time job in the initial stages and did invest early or save enough. And in the later half, I went to startups, which didn't work out. So actually in 2016, I did not have much wealth built up and I was far away from achieving financial freedom. I had worked for Amazon from 2010 to 2013, and in 2016, I actually came back to Amazon. And that's where my journey towards financial freedom started. And as you can see, I made most of my wealth from 2016 to 2023 and can be attributed to good financial planning and a focus on achieving financial freedom. So that's the second lesson from my journey. Even if you don't start early or plan early, it's never too late. Before I show you the next graph for my life, if you're enjoying this video, it's useful, please hit the subscribe button. Now if you look at the graph of my savings rate, which is the percentage of after-tax income that I was saving every year, and superimpose it on the wealth graph, this is how it looks. The blue line shows the increase of my wealth over time, and the red line shows the absolute value of the savings rate in that particular year. As you can see, from 2010 to 2013, I kept up a savings rate of about 20 to 30%, which was not enough to build any reasonable amount of wealth. And my savings rate dropped to zero because I didn't earn much at all during my startup stints. But when I came back to my job in Amazon in 2016, I actually understood the value of savings rate and just ramped it up, starting from 60% all the way to 80% eventually for the last few years. And you can see how my wealth grew during that period. So the correlation between savings rate and wealth building, which eventually means correlation to the time to achieve financial freedom, is very strong. This is real data from my journey. So the mistake here was I did not pay heed to my savings rate early in my career. And that's the lesson for all of us. Pay close attention to your savings rate. It has a very high correlation with the amount of wealth you build up as well as how quickly you can achieve financial freedom. As you can see, it took me only about 7.5 years from 2016 to late 2023 to achieve financial freedom because I actually kept my savings rate somewhere in the 70 to 80% range at most times. Again, reiterating the lesson that even if you didn't start early or didn't save early, it's never too late. The next graph we want to look at is the spend wealth ratio. So an important parameter in when you can actually achieve financial freedom and retire if you want is how much of your wealth you're spending every year. So typically you want it to be between 0.04 and 0.03. So you're spending roughly 4% or 3% of your wealth every year after you achieve financial freedom. So if you look at my graph of spend wealth ratio, you can obviously see how it accelerated towards the latter few years when I started saving more and accelerated towards that 0.04, 0.03 in 2023. The mistake that I want to highlight here is that I didn't even know about this concept in my early days. I should have known what kind of spend wealth ratio I need to reach and how it affects my ability to achieve financial freedom. So the lesson here is you should understand what your spend wealth ratio is and track it, because that's the true indicator of how far you are from financial freedom. Not your absolute wealth, but the ratio of your spend and wealth. This graph did not show absolute values, for example, of the amount of money I save. The reason for that is actually not important because everyone's life is different. How much you need to spend, your lifestyle is all very personal to you. And what I wanted to show from these graphs is that the absolute numbers don't matter. What matters is your savings rate and the spend wealth ratio and whether they are moving in the right direction. Even I was surprised that from 2016 to 2023, I was able to achieve financial freedom with almost zero wealth at the beginning of that period, and that matched up exactly to how the savings rate formula works. Plan and invest early, take care of your savings rate and your spend wealth ratio. And if you're interested to calculate how much you really need for financial freedom, watch this video.